Well, the thing we all wanted to see was LSU run the football. Let me correct that. The thing I desperately wanted to see was LSU run the football against South Carolina. They did that by and large, and it was a day where you did it without your starter at left guard, no Paul Mubenga for the game, and a day where you really committed to doing it. Tigers threw the ball 33 times. They ran it 30 times. So that in and of itself showed a different level of commitment to the running game that you certainly didn't see in your loss on the road at Ole Miss 2 weeks prior. And when Brian Kelly was meeting with reporters on Monday, he talked about the difference that he saw in his offensive line against South Carolina they had previously in the season.
Other things that really stood out after you watch film is that we ran off the ball for the first time with the offensive line. We got off the ball. Now, we got to sustain, and sustainability is will and want to, and we got to get more of that. I thought we did a great job in protecting our quarterback. No sacks against one of the elite pass rushers in Stewart in the league. He is an outstanding athlete, and I was proud of our guys in keeping our quarterback clean.
Stewart, of course, is Dylan Stewart from South Carolina. I'm getting to a point here as well because there remains one sort of glaring issue on this offensive line, but Brian Kelly later elaborated that how this offensive line progressed from the beginning of the season now through the bye week, and in particular, one part of the offensive line. Give a listen.
We're at the point now where we can talk about sustaining blocks, which is simply a determination and a want to and a will. And we got to get to that, because if we sustain one or two blocks, well, we had 6 runs of 15 yards or more. That's a really good start. We could have had 3 or 4 that were of 50 or more. And we just need to sustain. I couldn't get to sustaining blocks if I couldn't get off the ball. Now we're getting off the ball. Now we got to sustain blocks. We got to hold on to those blocks. It can't just be contact and that's it, because those guys are folding back in and making plays. So we're at a next stage if we continue to do what we're doing, which puts us in a really good place.
One of the things that I've mentioned a lot throughout this offseason, and this isn't something that's unique to me, it makes a lot of sense, is with an offensive line, you have 5 that need to play as one. And when you have a lot of first-time players out there and everyone playing together for the first time, that is going to take time to gel together. So that's sort of what you heard Brian Kelly saying there. It was teaching them first, firing off the ball. Now it's sustaining blocks. It's all a progress in how they're evolving and developing. And Brian Kelly on Monday in his press conference said it was the best center guard play that they've had all year. Braelin Moore, Josh Thompson, Coen Echols. He said that triangle, the best center guard play they've had the entire season. And the PFF grades actually bear that out. So when you look at pass blocking specifically, Braelin Moore was your highest graded pass blocker in this game with an 80.8. We're just looking at the offensive linemen. Josh Thompson was next with a 62. And then you saw Tyree Adams lower at a 57, Weston Davis at a 29, and Coen Echols was way down there at a 24. But the center guard with Braelin Moore and Josh Thompson, that does bear out. Now, when you talk about run blocking, your highest graded run blocker was, and again, this is what we're talking about, right? Not the pass blocking. We're talking about run blocking. So this is really what Kelly was alluding to there, is you're trying to get better in the running game. Josh Thompson, your highest graded run blocker at a 72.5. Coen Echols next at 62.4. Braelin Moore next, 62.3. I always say with PFF, sometimes it can validate or invalidate, confirm or disconfirm what the eye test show you. Well, Brian Kelly's sitting there saying it was the best center guard play we had all year. That obviously bears it out. The problem that you're having right now is that Tyree Adams has been good for you at left tackle. He's certainly been serviceable. He hasn't been outstanding this season. He hasn't played at an all-conference level. His overall PFF grade is a 60. Pass blocking grade of 64. His run blocking grade a 54. So not great, but serviceable. The problem that I think everyone can acknowledge is Weston Davis is really struggling at right tackle. And I'm not the person that ever wants to come on air and just bury a college athlete. I try my very best to not do that. And I think Weston Davis is a guy at 6'7", 320 with incredible upside. He's a former 5-star, and he's a fantastic athlete and has tremendous upside and ability. But look at what happened against Louisiana Tech. They pulled him. to start the second half. Brian Kelly said as much, like he just needed to sit and just watch for a little while. He was swimming. And you look at this game, his pass blocking grade was a 29.2. His run blocking grade was a 51.4. His overall season grade is a 39. Like, it's just very obvious. Like a season ago, DJ Chester at center was your weak link. God bless the kid. I mean, he was playing out of position, and he was playing the position where you got to touch the ball every play, make every call. It was very difficult. Right now, Weston Davis is feeling a little bit of that. As a redshirt freshman playing for the first time, and he's swimming. Now, you might remember this because we talked about it a lot in the spring. Josh Thompson, who transferred in from Northwestern, was a 2-year starter at Northwestern. Last season in 2024 for the Wildcats, he played 646 snaps, all of them at right guard. So in 2024, Josh Thompson was the starting right guard at Northwestern. But 2 years ago in 2023, he played 761 snaps at right tackle. He was Northwestern's starting right tackle 2 years ago. So now you have a guy that is veteran, multi-year starter, is performing very well for you, solid for you right now through the first 6 games, who has experience as a starting right tackle. And that is very clearly your weakest position right now. So wouldn't it stand to reason you could give Thompson a look at right tackle and then maybe play Chester or Kern at right guard? Solidify where you are weakest right now and get another athletic, big physical player at guard. So I asked Brian Kelly that on Monday. Here's what he said.
We did, but we're willing to live with some mistakes out at right tackle because we think his future is so bright. So when you go into that whole process of thinking about it, do you thwart his growth of what he needs to see every day? He was really good against 6 in pass protection. Really good. That guy is outstanding. He's as good as I've seen. We've got to get him better in the run game. And that's where at times you want to put Josh out there. But we're going to live with him. And I'm proud of him. He's growing. He's learning this game. And that's a big part of this. O-line awareness, O-line instincts. Some have it, some don't. Some you got to really give them reps. And that's what this is about. He needs to play.
There's 2 ways to look at that conversation. Weston Davis has tremendous upside. That's undeniable. And some guys struggle when they're young and they get better with more reps. And Davis could very well be that guy. I think he will be that guy. But are you compromising your short-term ability to have success this season by being vulnerable there when you have an option? If you didn't have another option, that'd be one thing. But you have an option that you're not willing to exercise. And I wonder if you don't get to a point this year where you have to make that move. Now, the other part of it, too, is Josh Thompson has to be willing to make that move. And there is something to be said for in a new era, an NIL era, where guys probably commit or come under certain pretenses. Josh Thompson was in the Big Ten, comes into the SEC, and is putting out good tape so far through 6 weeks. Is he willing to switch positions in his draft year? Maybe not. And I would love to think all-in team guy, whatever we got to do to win. And I don't know. I don't know Josh Thompson. Aside from the few times he's met with the media, I don't know him a lick. So I can't tell you what he will be willing to do or not. But I think that's also something you got to consider. Is he willing to move to right tackle if you wanted him to? So, and you heard Brian Kelly say in that bite, because the way I asked the question was, have you considered moving him to right tackle? And he says, yeah, he acknowledges, yes, they talked about it. Well, wouldn't you talk about it with Josh Thompson as well? Wouldn't that stand to reason? So I don't know where that stands, but that is something to watch. And the hope is in the second half of the season, you continue to see Weston Davis exponentially improve. And if he does, great. Now you're solidified at that spot for the next couple of years with a really athletic, talented guy. But in the meantime, that remains a weakness. And every team has a best pass rusher. Every team has one. They may not all be Dylan Stewart, but everybody's got one. And it's going to be on Weston Davis a lot of Saturdays. Try to hold him off. See how that continues to develop. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.